Everything is about to change for Star Wars, and I don't think you guys realize how important this is. And it all has to do with canon. Once Disney took over, they scrapped the old canon, and our Queen Kathleen Kennedy famously said that every story from here on out would be part of one canon. That means every single story is going to be a part of the same universe. Well, that only lasted 7 years or so because welcome Star Wars Visions. This isn't going to be a review of the series. I enjoyed it, that's all you need to know. But the fact that Star Wars Visions is not a part of the singular canon that Queen Kathy envisioned back in 2014 makes the implications of this series very interesting. Visions has been a success. Star Wars fans seem to love it, and I don't want to speak for anime fans, but they also seem to love it just as much as they do destroying the like button for the YouTube algorithm. If it's a borderline universal success, that means there's money to be made off of it, and we know how much Disney loves their money. So Star Wars Visions Season 2 seems like a gimme at this point, with certain creators even talking about how they have more plans for their stories. The reason this is so huge for Star Wars is because it sets a precedent for non-canon storytelling. Gone are the days of the singular canon. Now, should we be concerned with the future of the current canon? Maybe. Now, I don't think they're gonna abolish the canon or anything, but there has been case after case of them retconning and ignoring their own canon. In the Ahsoka novel, for example, she used green lightsabers during the Siege of Mandalore, but in the show, she used blue lightsabers. The most recent and arguably most egregious example of this was Kanan's story during Order 66. There was a Kanan comic of where he was during Order 66, and the Bad Batch show basically ignored that completely and retold Kanan's story. Now, some fans have argued that it's not a contradiction because the same story beats happen in both stories, so it's really more like a retelling. Bullshit! Lucasfilm clearly has no problem contradicting their own canon if it will enhance their live action or animated shows. So what's to say Lucasfilm won't continue to retcon certain things? Now, do I think this is a big concern? No. And to all those brainwashed grifter-loving weirdos, the sequel trilogy is not going to be retconned, so cheers to that. The obvious implication that this has on the franchise is we're probably going to get more non-canon stories outside of Star Wars Visions. And I'm not talking about the masterpieces that are the LEGO Holiday Special and the LEGO Halloween Special. We are going to get more semi-serious non-canon Star Wars shows and even maybe movies. The other day, Del Rey released a novel called Ronin, which was about the first short in Star Wars Visions, so they're already releasing more non-canon novels. Now, I'd bet the house that none of these stories are going to be live action. There is no way Lucasfilm would spend that kind of money on something that's not going to be part of their wider universe. But I do think there is going to be a continuation of the expanded universe. Have you ever heard of Star Wars Legends? That is the continuity that existed before Disney bought the franchise. For 7 years or so, Star Wars fans have been clamoring for the EU to be continued, and right now at this second, that is more likely to happen than in the past 7 years. I do think Lucasfilm needs to be careful though. There's an argument that's been made that non-canon stories allow writers to have more freedom with their storytelling, and that creative freedom is something that should be cherished. Now, don't get me wrong, creative freedom is definitely something that's important, but I feel like when it comes to non-canon stories, there needs to be a specific reason why this story needs to be non-canon. Because if you tell a story that doesn't have to do with anything of the pre-existing characters or lore or any of the worlds, then you can just put that story in a different corner of the galaxy. There's pretty much always a way you can fit a story into the canon if it doesn't have any of the pre-existing characters. Unless you want to do some lore-breaking type shit like time travel or a crossover with the MCU, just go into the corner of the galaxy and tell your story there. I want you guys to ponder what I'm about to say. Just think about all the different nations and cultures and religions that we have on planet Earth. There are dozens, if not hundreds of different cultures on this planet. This is all on one planet. In the Star Wars universe, there are thousands of planets. Without exaggeration, there are an infinite number of stories you can tell that fit into the current canon. So again, if you want to tell a non-canon story, there needs to be a good reason why. If they wanted to continue Star Wars Legends, that would be a good reason. If they wanted to make more LEGO movies, that would also be a good reason. See what I'm getting at here? I just hope they don't overdo it. I know this was a short video, but I wanted to say that next week I do have a Legend of Korra video coming out, so stay tuned for that. See you guys.